Welcome back to the Hey Eintracht Frankfurt podcast, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything that there is in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt, the greatest club in the Männer Bundesliga, the most frustrating club in the Frauen Bundesliga, and of course we're saying this in both fronts because we are very strongly biased. Garret Komat's here in Metro Detroit, Warren to be exact. It's an all-Michigan show this evening. We are in the midst of a wild time in Eintracht Frankfurt on all sides. We're going to be talking about that tonight. Nothing new on the U.S. tour front yet, which is 3 months away, but it's going to come up incredibly quick. Can't do it alone. Joining me tonight, 90 minutes up the road, my brother from another mother, Chris Monroe, repping the Tigers, who are going to town on the Brewers, and we are a handful of days away from our Detroit Pistons in the NBA playoffs.
Garrett, I got to tell you, I'm also wearing my Racer Get Scenario Boost shirt, which I don't just wear it on the shirt. I wear it on the arm. It's for real. Yeah. We're going to get producer Nathan on this. It is April in the D. There is no better song to bring in this segment of the show, which we're going to take entirely off the rails for 30 seconds and say, you and I have been through a lot in the sporting world the last decade of absolute bullshit that our city has been put through in the sports circles. And it is really nice that April in the D means something again, that Detroit sports, and when you include Frankfurt, because let's be honest, that's really the sixth team around there. It's big. Like, April this month means so much in so many different ways. You're looking up at your TV. I'm looking up at mine. Detroit is really hitting a different level. And when you throw in the Europa League run from Frankfurt, man, it just fits right in with the April in the D theme. And I'm telling you, if Nathan throws this in there during post-production, he is going to win awards for Producer of the Year, because man, that April in the D theme just hits harder.
Well, I know we can't hit. He won't hit Gloria for the Blues because of copyright laws. So this is likely that'll be likely to go in for there. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild time right now. I mean, even like Red Wings, yeah, whatever. But I mean, even our local soccer club scoring 3 goals in 4 minutes to come from behind and beat Phoenix Rising.
Totally nuts.
Yeah,
and a banger of a finish in the 90th.
So there's this all wild time, and it all connects to each other one way or another. And like the connection piece you were talking about is our Eintracht Frankfurt. We're going to start with the Männer. Bundesliga match day 29 yesterday, coming off the 1-1 draw in the Europa League Leg 1 quarterfinal on Thursday at Tottenham Hotspur, taking on a FC Heidenheim side who is trying to make sure that they stay in at least the playoff spot of promotion relegation in the Bundesliga. A match day which had already seen Mainz stumble again before at Hoffenheim, which I've dropped the sickos emoji in the Discord chat when this was happening. Mönchengladbach losing at Freiburg, and then RB Leipzig defeating Wolfsburg. Really the only downside for us in those spots around the table. But for Eintracht Frankfurt to get into that game, which we were a little bit concerned about if it was going to be a not a Kevin, but a trap game, not really the case. Goals by Jean-Matteo Bahoy in the 10th minute, Robin Koch in the 42nd minute, Hugo Ekitike in the 71st. Could have had some other chances, but at the end of the day, Eintracht Frankfurt 3, FC Heidenheim 0. Third place, 3 points clear, RB Leipzig 5 now of Mainz, 6 in Freiburg, 7 in Mönchengladbach. How happy are you after that? Was some of the things? Was there anything in particular that really stood out to you?
Yeah, well, obviously happy about the result, but the way that it played out, when you look at the way that we've really struggled to take early leads on teams lower in the table, that's where we dropped all these damn points that have kept us really out of, safely in the Champions League qualification and having to fight a little bit more than we probably should, because we don't put teams away or get early leads on these bad teams in the first 20, 25 minutes. And then all that does when you let those bad teams stay in the match is it tightens that that screw down on the pressure button against the favored side. And it was really exciting to see an early goal, John Mateo Bahoya, that put away, just kind of a slam dunk effort, but putting himself in the right place to receive that ball and finish it with confidence, strong finish by him there, really kind of set the tone. And, the 1-0 lead is nothing against any team in the Bundesliga.
Right.
But I really thought the guys settled down from that point, and it was just a matter of playing it through and taking advantage of the chances as they presented themselves. And it was a very business-like game. Looking at the stats, it wasn't anything that's going to blow your mind. I mean, 8 shots on target on 19 total. We lost a possession battle. We were less physical. But overall, I thought it was just emblematic of, what you need to do. You go out there and you do it, very business-like.
I want to get your thoughts because I was reading some post-match quotes both on the Eintracht Frankfurt website as well as the local Frankfurter Rundschau. To anyone that is primarily German, if I messed up on the pronunciations, forgive me. German's my second language-ish. Do you know there was this interesting dynamic that little differences in opinion on performance amongst the Eintracht Frankfurt brass. Dino Topmuller. It was a well-deserved win. We're very pleased with the victory. It's about approaching every game like a final, which is easier said than done. We went and then talked about the players playing a lot of games, but then we went into the game with a really good attitude. Always the first step. We've worked extremely hard to be in this position. Now, Marcus Kroesche, his thoughts, what I thought was really interesting. The result was good, of course, but we didn't play particularly well. We have to play 1 or 2 leagues better there than what we did against Heidenheim. We scored 3 goals. That was good, but we still have room for more improvement in any areas. We weren't serious enough after 1-0. It all felt a bit like a summer kick. We can't keep going like that. We have to step it up a notch against Tottenham. That's some of the words that he said. Do you feel more in the Dino camp of words after that match? Do you feel more in the Kroesche step? Or do you want to, are you taking bits of both?
I'm taking bits of both. They're both saying what they should be saying. You're proud of the players for taking control of the match and handling it the way they're supposed to handle it. But I think the comments by Kroesche are also to the point that we recognize that winning these types of matches has been a struggle for us, and we've dropped a lot of points. But also at the same time, I think it's a reminder to everybody that beating Heidenheim is not the goal for the season. And achieving the goal, whether it's Champions League qualification through the league, winning Europa League, those are the 2 primary goals here. But to do those, we have to bring these business-like performances and win matches consistently. That it's not, hey, we did it now so we can take Thursday off against Tottenham, because if we do that, Europa League's out the window. And I think that's his point there, that congratulations, you did it once, now do it again.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I like the Dino trying to keep it positive to an extent, but I like the aggression from Kroesche. I think the aggression from Kroesche is kind of like how we felt Thursday after when it was 1-1. When we were lucky, we felt like that it was 1-1. And we were like hoping that we have a Koa Santos prayer candle that Eintracht Frankfurt fan shop can then sell and charge as much for the candle as they would for shipping for those internationally. Some of us will pay it, though, because we thank Koa Santos very much for that saves in those performances. But I like that. I think it's not, like I said, we're not satisfied. We might have been satisfied, I think, in years past being in this situation right now. But look what that resulted in those years. This is a massive, stretch to there where we have to keep that aggression levels.
We have come a long way in the last 3 to 5 years where the expectation has shifted from, survive Bundesliga, get to that safe number where you're out of the relegation discussion. And now we've advanced to qualify for Europe being the standard. And now the standard has advanced across the board to bring home silverware. Yeah. Don't care what kind, don't care what competition. Every year you're expected to bring home silverware. This year it's Europa League. Last year it was the Pokal. The year before that, Europa League. I mean, there's always, well, Champions League, we made a run there. Year before that was Europa League title. But the point being, we have now got expectations that we expect to meet, and we're spending money like those expectations are supposed to be met.
Right.
You know, we have questioned, I think rightfully so, some of Marcus Krosch's signings. 24 here, you know, 20 there, 18 over there for various guys. And, you know, we're still on the good side of the numbers because we're selling guys for ungodly amounts we've never seen before. But at the same time, when we turn that around and flip that into other players, the expectation is more winning than we did previously. So if we fizzle out of this third place position with 5 weeks left and end up in Europa League again, that's a failure. Given where we are right now with 5 matches left, that would be a failure. Also, not qualifying for Champions League or not getting to Europa League final. I'm never going to predict a final, but in a 2-leg series, the expectation right now for this group is to advance. So whether it's a quarterfinal, a semifinal, it doesn't matter. The expectation should be get to Spain that second week of June. There's no other way in my mind to explain it. Yeah, May, whatever. I don't even know what day it is right now, but the point being, there are new expectations around here, and nobody's settling for where we're at.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to say about this one, there was Kevin Trapp, seen in the suites, interviewed post-match, being asked the position about how does he feel, and kind of dare we say it, like the words conceding that right now it's Koa Santos's position in a way, and at the same time, like, there's it's whatever the team needs, I'm for, basically. I might not be nailing the wording correctly on it, but the mindset of that. How refreshing is that to hear that from somebody who is basically, we've talked about him getting the statue and sacrificing his body essentially for us in our successes over these, you know, run of years now, and the captain of this squad. To say something like that, and what do you think that shows of the general cohesion and the how close-knit this squad seems to be?
Well, I'm going to put it in context using 3 points. The first time Kevin Trapp was with the club, he exceeded expectations that we had, and probably kept us from relegation at a time when it could have easily just been down and out. And the second point being, he left, and he should have gone for money to PSG, and no one faulted him for that, because that's the career move at that time in his career. That was absolutely the right move to make. Right. When he came back to Frankfurt and said, this is where I want to be, when his girlfriend at the time said he's not allowed to leave again, this is where he belongs, Kevin Trapp bought into that. There is no better, you know, for the people we've had around, for the Hinterreggers, the Abrahams, Hasebe, Rhoda, guys that, you know, define an Eintracht man. Kevin Trapp's right there with those guys, and he's earned the right to call his own shots. Yeah, and the other point being, he was overlooked for the one spot when he was the number one keeper in Germany. He was overlooked for that number one with the German team because Manuel Neuer is, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get on that train, but
Neuer, Ter Stegen, etc. Yeah.
Kevin Trapp was the better of the three of them for large portions of his window with the senior team there, and he was overlooked. Kevin Trapp is the number one in Frankfurt when he's healthy, when he wants to be there. He has earned that right. But Kevin Trapp, being an Eintracht Frankfurt man, does what Rhoda and Hasebe and Abraham and other guys did. They said, hey, I am not the one, Chandler, I am not the one to take things to the next level. I'm here. I'm available. When I'm healthy, I'll provide as much as I can. But what he's doing right now is putting that crest ahead of his own career. And to me, that is very important. setting the example for a lot of the young guys on this team. And you better believe his leadership in the locker room is just as important, even if he's not in the 18 every week. So it'll be interesting when he gets healthy, don't you think?
Yeah, so the full on like the English from what I saw here, looking back in our chats. When I come back, the coach has to make the decision. I'm sure he'll make the right decision. It's not about personal sensitivities, but about putting yourself at the service of the team. If Peter Fischer was still with this club, he might shed a tear of because that's something he would say about his service, about those type of things. It's that feel that what led us to why we love the club the way that we do. So it's all exciting, all of it on there.
And the thing that concerns me though, every time that they show Kevin Trapp up in a suite with a nice, good-looking jacket on and a coffee in his hand, my wife gets all excited and totally tunes in at that point. And I don't know. He better not come to Louisville this year because I can't deal with that again. But
on the bright side, though, who else is going to talk stuffed animals with Lily?
That's true. No, Kevin Trapp's a first-class guy, first-class Frankfurt man, more deserving. There could be debates had, and Charlie and other guys that would be deserving. Alex Meyer maybe for a statue, but Kevin Trapp's right up there. He backstopped us to our modern Europa League trophy, and he's a big part of why this group is where they are right now, the position that they've been in the last few years. There have been entire periods, months of the season where he has carried them through. And, if he's going to sit back and concede Santos is the guy here, I have 100% confidence in Santos to do that. And he's proven he's up for the job.
Damn right. So we've talked about Joyous Danes being proven for the job, all this stuff. Now we got to talk about the opposite. We'll talk more Männer stuff in segment 2. We got to switch over to what happened early the day before at the Waldstadion. When we were talking last week about the Frauen's upcoming match with Bayern Munich, I think we were saying ticket sales for the match at the Waldstadion was in the 15,000 range. And we were hoping that it'd get to 17, and we were very skeptical because that's who we are as beings, especially with the state of the Frauen game, not just in Germany, but in Europe in general. Producer Nathan confirmed that there was actually 30,500 at the Waldstadion. Way to prove us all wrong. Congratulations to all of those. How did the Eintracht Frankfurt Frauen repay those 30,000, mostly 500 that were mostly there to watch Eintracht Frankfurt? By laying a stinker of a stinker. Eintracht Frankfurt Frauen 0, Bayern Munich 3, goals conceded in the 12th, 30th, and 48th minutes. Eintracht Frankfurt with the possession, more possession than Bayern, but I don't really have anything nice to say about this match.
Well, I'll say this because I tuned in and then I tuned out and then I tuned back in. Bayern is the better side, and they're going to win the title again because they are the better side. There's no doubt about that. I was hoping for a little bit more of a punch. We didn't get that. But to the point you just made there, people did show up. That was the largest crowd since, I think it was a Bayern match 3 years ago, the first time the Frauen played in Waldstadion. They had a similar crowd right around 30,000. Absolutely spectacular. The title is out of reach, and let's be honest, they weren't going to win the title. They needed help. It wasn't going to happen either way. But with that firmly out of reach, people did show up, and I applaud them because I was critical last week when the ticket estimations were so low. Full props to any of the 2 people maybe that we convinced listening to go to it. But I really hope that the poor play early, going down 2 before the half, the fans were still in it. After half, the flags were waving, the people were singing and making noise. And I'm going to give a little bit of credit to the Frankfurt side that they didn't quit. They were taking shots, not quality shots, but I think that's more because the the Bayern defense was very organized. The 15 shots and only 3 on target just goes to show that for as much as we were firing, we were getting bad attempts. And Schuler's goal early was really well done. Harder in the second half. Really, I mean, Stina Johannes had no opportunity to save either one of those. Just kind of a situation where you're outclassed by the better side, and that's bound to happen. But in week 19, we know that we're out of competition now in all 3, the Pokal and Champions League, obviously, and now in the league. So now the focus goes to next year. 3 weeks left, 3 matches left, and people are auditioning now. They're auditioning for spots on the team next year. Those that are sticking around, those that are leaving, thank you. Appreciate what you've done. Time to go. Cologne, Hoffenheim, and Leipzig to end the year. So we can say, hey, F it. Let's just go through the motions. Or we can play for pride. We can play for that 3rd place spot because Leverkusen's right on our ass. They drew with Cologne on the weekend, and they finish with that Cologne match was today. They finished with Potsdam, Leipzig, and Wolfsburg. So,
and then I'm looking at Wolfsburg, who are a point ahead of us in second, who thankfully only drew at Freiburg. That could have been a calamity weekend for the Eintracht Frauen. Wolfsburg host Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim knocked them out of the Pokal. They're at Turbine Potsdam, and they're home to Bayer Leverkusen. The Champions League I see green in the second place because I think there's something new for second place in the Frauen Bundesliga with Champions League. John talked about it last episode. I think instead of that, I think you get a play-in, one less round of qualification.
It's one less round, yeah. So there's one less round of qualification as opposed to the 2. I believe that's it. But for me, the idea that, we could finish top 2, for me, the hopes might have been too high. But I thought at the winter break, when we were sitting in first, we were the best team. We were in the best form. Our players, our stars were showing up. We battled some injuries, but we were still putting everything together. The second half was very disorganized. I mean, even now in our last 5, loss, win, loss, win, loss, like there's just no consistency in what we're doing right now, which is why I'm curious about these last 3 weeks. I'm confident we can win all 3, but I really want to see the attitude and the effort that says we want this for us, because 2 is still in play. I mean, we're only 1 point behind Wolfsburg here. 2 is very much still in play, and that gets us to one of our goals met. So I think I'm not holding my breath on it because we're not consistent enough right now, but it's not enough for me to dog the performance.
So, obviously we'll be the net because much like this weekend with Bayern, we have a weekend off. We'll be back talking about Frauen next week's episode because the Cologne away match is Sunday, April 27th. You know what it's time for? A traditional segment here at Eintracht Frankfurt. # what are we drinking? Which can also include food. So, Chris, I'll leave it to you. You smashed a cork in half last week. What's your contribution this week?
Well, there's not going to be any smashing this week because I'm drinking out of aluminum cans. But no, it was a special week here in my house. I am a big golf guy, and it was Masters weekend. So I was feasting on egg salad sandwiches and pimento cheese sandwiches like they do down at Augusta National. And I found I was like a good theme, right? My food and drink has to match the sports event in my life. So I went down to my local store, and on the west side of the state in Holland, Michigan, beautiful town, is a brewery called Big Lake Brewing, and they do really, really good beers. And I had an IPA from them called Swing Juice, which was absolutely wonderful, delicious. Well, I'm so tired of egg salad and pimento cheese because I ate so damn much of it during the Masters. I'm doubling my workouts this week as a result of the punishment and the caloric intake. But the swing juice was delicious. F the tariffs. I'm drinking my Labatt Blue. Actually, this is brewed in the USA now. I think comes out of Virginia now. But
so the bars that say Labatt Lube Light's an import, fuck off. It's domestic. Charge domestic rates.
Well, the can. So that's where it gets complicated. The can stuff I know is brewed stateside right now. I'm not sure about the kegs. I don't know.
God.
But they'll still charge it as an import because they can and people will pay more. But Labatt Blue is good stuff.
Our buddy, our buddies Ray's to hell. Like, what do you mean this is an import? Because our group of friends smash Labatt Blue like I drink water. So I had a great lunch with Mom and a cousin of ours this weekend. So I went to OG Hamlin Pub in Rochester, Michigan, which is a great spot for one of our first football watching spots for me, meeting expats, mostly English, but you can watch some German games there. So had some great food there. They have a Cuban sandwich that's just bang on. Today I had a place called for our team lunch at work, a place called Breadless in Detroit.
That's so good.
So that was my debut to Breadless. So for those you can get sandwiches that are like lettuce wrap things or like meat bowls on there. I had the chicken bacon ranch that was wrapped with a Swiss chard lettuce. The sauces was ranch and hot buffalo sauce. Fantastic, especially when it's a team lunch, which means you don't have to pay for it. Water right now. Also, shout out to the Meijer lunchbox specials because that's what I had for dinner, the tenders. And I actually, for workout stuff, Chris, for the Pistons game, I started doing something for every Pistons, whether it was 2 or 3 points. Friday, I did 2 sumo squats with pulse squats. So you do 119 sumo squats, 119 pulse squats. And then yesterday was like 50 high legs, 50 sumo. So like I did 200 reps of workout stuff. So
every day's leg day.
Every day's leg day. Maybe that's why I can eat all this food. So for whatever everyone is eating, drinking, we say cheers, we say Prost. So for those that are listening to the audio form, you're going to potentially hear a little break and everything like that. For those that are checking out the video, for those that are in the video, the show must go on, and it will go on because we did a little thing of around the Bundesliga. We're going to do some more around the Bundesliga when we talk about the weekend. It is now the big moment right now. We are less than 72 hours away from leg 2 of the Europa League quarterfinals. Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham Hotspur, Waldstadion, 3 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, April 17th. The winner of that, it's 1-1 after leg 1. The winner of that faces the winner of Bodo Glimt and Lazio. Bodo Glimt doing the rest of the civilized world a giant favor, taking leg 1 2-0 in a very super, super, super snowy Norway, because I always want to say they're in Sweden, but they're in Norway. Jens Haga, Peter Haga with an assist on that. On the other side of the quarterfinal bracket, we had Lyon and Manchester United 2-2, and Rangers Athletic Club Bilbao 0-0. Bilbao is hosting at their stadium the final. So we're not going to talk about that other side of the bracket right now. Let's talk about what we got in front of us. Leg 1 saw Eintracht Frankfurt take a lead in the first 5 minutes via Hugo Ekitike before Pedro Porro, nice goal, and then a Spurge siege, which we've said if it wasn't for Coa Santos, we'd be very petrified. We'd have not as much to potentially look forward to this afternoon, this coming Thursday afternoon. Do you see this game, Chris, being a similar approach for Dino and them, or do you see us getting massively on the front foot like we were to Ajax leg 2 at the Waldstadion in the previous round?
That first match was kind of like a Charles Dickens story. It was a tale of 2 Eintrachts, and what you saw out the gate and how strong we were and how organized and how everything went the right way, and a couple early saves by Santos, but then the guys rebounding and getting a goal and all that kind of stuff. And then there was the, oh shit, we have to hold on real hard to get this one. I think maybe we were a little too happy with the result. Of course, a 1-1 draw in North London was, what we went there to do. The mission was accomplished there. But maybe we were too comfortable with the performance from Santos because we were outplayed significantly for periods of time in the second half. We expected them to punch like that because this is the only competition they have left. And, they got throttled this weekend.
4-2 at Wolves.
Yeah, yeah. So they're kind of doing what Frankfurt did a couple of years ago, where all their eggs are going into the Europa League basket. And that's a little bit concerning because they're where we were, right? Going into Barcelona a couple of years ago, going on the road and needing a result.
3 years to the day today was the Eintracht Frankfurt 3-2 win at Barcelona. 30,000 supporters at the new Camp Nou.
But we were either gonna win that in advance, or we were gonna be out of all competitions for the following season. That's a little concerning if you think about that in the minds of where Tottenham is right now. They're gonna come out Thursday and they're gonna punch us right away. And I really need to see us, not just be good early like we were last Thursday, but be good throughout the match, spread it out, and really know when we're going to have to be the more physical team. And I thought Tottenham was way more physical in the second half. We're going to have to be selectively aggressive because cards are still in play right now, right? So guys have to play within their limits, but be the more physical team and be organized in the box, because Santos, as good as he is, he's not going to be able to come up with those miracle saves as often as he did every single time out there. At some point, Tottenham is good enough. They will hit those spots. We just have to be in a better position and not let that ball get through.
Garret and Chris is ready to go, or would you put him in?
I don't know if I'd start him, but I would definitely want to see him. One of the things
he brings something on those European match days, I feel like, more so than the Bundesliga days.
But what I would be worried about is if we put him out there to start, but he's really only got 45 minutes in him, right. And then we put those out there early and we're struggling to get to the half. If his speed is not there, I'd rather have it for 30 minutes down towards the end when we need him to track box to box, hopefully with a lead. I'd be a little too worried about him trying to conserve energy early and then leaving us at that disadvantage. So it's funny because we've talked at times about how this team has depth and then other times where we don't have any depth at all. It's not that we have or don't have depth. Our depth fluctuates just dramatically. So we don't know which side of that is going to come out this week. But we're as experienced as any team out there playing in Europe right now. Deep runs year after year after year. And most of these guys have seen it either with us or with other clubs they've been at. So I have all the confidence in the world they can get it done. But also it's Frankfurt, so I'm a little worried.
So dust settles, 5 o'clock, a little after that, Eastern time, Thursday. What's the score? And who gets them?
Well, we were talking off air about where we're going to watch this one. Little place you and I call Honest John's. I have to be honest in this pick. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think Tottenham's desperate, and I think we're fully focused on 2 competitions. I like us going deep, but I think it's going to go to penalty kicks at 2-2. I'd like to say Santos comes up big in penalties. But on this stage, it's just a little bit different. I don't know. Why don't you give your analysis and come back to me before I lock it in? Because I need you to talk me into this one.
I think we'll see a little more edge from us at home than we did in League One. I think the way we played, while not perfect on Sunday, I think gave a good spark. It's how we start. We got to start hot. We need more than one goal. One goal ain't going to do it. It's not going to be a 1-0 game. Spurs are going to get one. They're going to get out. Yeah. They're going to get one. They are in 15th in the Premier League. Spurs are Eintracht Frankfurt in 2022 right now. This is their last chance. This is Ange Postecoglou's last chance as a Spurs manager he's probably coaching for his job. A lot of these guys are playing for their Spurs careers or where they might wind up in the offseason. I feel like there's something about a European match night at the Waldstadion am Herzen von Europa. I'm doing this out of vibes more so than hope or match thought. Vibes tell me Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Goals are Ekitike and Bahoya.
Neither one of us are confident. I can hear it in our voices here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sticking with the 2-2. I'm sticking. And you know what? We might even see extra time goals because 30 minutes is a long time, especially on tired legs in the second leg of a matchup. 3 games in 7 days for both these sides. I'm going to go 2-2, going to shootout, but I'm going to change the hat here. A little Lee Corso action. Koa Santos is going to take care of this for us in the penalties. If we're talking goals, I'm going to go with what's been working. Hugo Ekitike with 2 big ones. And then, Santos get us 1, maybe 2 in PKs, and we can advance.
If Eintracht Frankfurt take like 2 in advance, they will be going to their second Europa League semifinal in 4 years and their third in 7.
And it would continue the insane stat. The insane stat of the last 24 matches in Europe with only, 3 losses? It's just astonishing what this group has done, what this organization has done. For as much as we get on them about being cheap and unorganized and divas and all this stuff, there are probably 95% of the other sides in Europe that would love to be in our spot year after year, competing deep into this match or playing in cup finals or whatever it is. Somehow they find a way to get it done. I don't know how, because it feels like every week we get on here and talk about the sky is falling down around us and we're never going to recover from this. And you know what? You got to remind me of that Thursday afternoon if things don't go our way, because I'm always the first one to have a negative reaction. And I just think it's important for us to remember that we're playing in a Europa League quarterfinal in a second leg with a chance to advance. And 99% of the other teams in Europe are sitting at home watching on TV. So
yeah,
the sky is not falling. And
then, especially if you get to the weekend, around the Bundesliga real quick and to preview Sunday, no Friday match day. It's really weird.
Thanks.
I wonder if it's because of Good Friday. Heidenheim, Bayern Munich, Freiburg, Hoffenheim, Mainz, Wolfsburg, Leipzig, Kiel, Bremen, Bochum. Those are your 9:30 Saturday morning. Union Berlin, Stuttgart, Tippspiel at 12:30. Sunday, we are the early match. We'll get back to that. Dortmund, Mönchengladbach at 11:30. St. Pauli, Bayer Leverkusen, 1:30. We're at Augsburg. Big match weekend in general. I think Mainz, Wolfsburg is going to be a tough match for them, who they've been struggling the last few. And we play them in 2 match days. And RB Leipzig is next weekend. 3rd place right now. Final 5 match days in the league. As if we don't have enough to worry about on Thursday, we have this shit too. I I know Augsburg are one of maybe the informed teams in the second half of the Bundesliga. Stumbled at Bayern Munich, at home to Bayern Munich, but who doesn't? But they played hard. That was actually a couple match days ago. They won at my bad. That was 2 match days ago. They won at Balcom this weekend.
But they've won 3 of their last 5, and for like you said, they've been in form the second half. The difference between Freiburg in 6th place and Union in 12th place is 7 points.
11,
Augsburg's 3 points back of Europe right now. So.
Yeah, Union are listed at 34 right now, but that might be because of that ruling from earlier in the year. But Augsburg in 10th are 3 points back of Freiburg in 6th.
Yep. The point being, though, Augsburg is in play for Europe. So it's another one like Tottenham where teams are hungry right now. Weird things happen this time of year because you get sides that are so focused that if you don't come into it with a better focus than them, you're going to be surprised by the outcome. I would not be surprised. It's the worst thing about our current Eintracht Frankfurt situation is every time we play at home in Europe, the next match day is a who knows what the fuck we're going to get, because it's just one of those emotional things where Deutsche Bank Park, Waldstadion on a Thursday night in European play, it can't be matched. And the emotions coming out of that, and then to follow it up on the weekend at WWK Arena in Augsburg, which is like church. I'm going to go to church Saturday night. It's going to be louder than the stadium in Augsburg. Like it's
on Easter Sunday.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where you have to bring the emotion, even if it's not in the stands. And when you have trouble balancing those emotions, weird things happen. I'd like to think we're beyond that, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Would you be disappointed with a draw?
100%. Like I was saying, you're at this point with 5 weeks left in the season. The expectation is do your job. So you got to get 3 points on the road in the league to keep pace, because we've had some fortune in the way that the table's fallen around us, but we're by no means safe right now. We still got a lot of work to do sitting at third. We're not guaranteed anything at this point. So I got to see more still.
So what do you see what are you going to see once we hit 11:30-ish Sunday? What do you see the scores?
I don't want to answer this till Thursday, but if I have to right now, I'm going to say 2-1. Gritty, not pretty, but that's okay. 3 points is 3 points no matter how you get it.
We might be doing a recap the Adler Europa Thursday night some point, maybe not immediately after the match. So if you want, we'll say 2-1 for you right now for that, and we can reimagine. I feel like, this is going to fucking suck. I hate this matchup. I'll go Augsburg 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 2 right now. Nathaniel Brown, Shamulian. Those are my 2 for that. We shall obviously see. We might have it updated, so that's your teaser to check out Recap the Adler Europa. If not, if it doesn't go out Thursday night, you'll see early Friday. Shout out to producer Nathan for always getting them out in rapid fire session. Do we have anything else we want to add before we go to the where to find us?
Louisville details will be coming out shortly as far as what we plan to do as a podcast group. We're not just a podcast. We're facilitators for Frankfurt fans unaffiliated with EFCs. We like our EFCs too. Shout out to all our EFCs, New York, Austin, Indy, Chicago's new, Charlotte's operating. They had a big watch party this weekend. Good things going on with all the EFCs. So
Austin Adler as well.
Yes, Austin, Philly, Florida, San Francisco Bay, wherever you are, reach out to us or reach out to those groups, and if there's not a group there, we're going to help you start a group. We've been going with other EFC members around the country, trying to start new groups, especially Chicago, Philadelphia. So we want to do that. We want to do more of that stuff, and we're going to do more of that. But it's going to start with a meeting in Louisville this summer, in Philadelphia, where I've been in conversations with people, and we are going to do a live broadcast. So we'll have more on that, hopefully by the end of this month.
If you already haven't, hit the like and hit the subscribe on the YouTube channel, Hey Eintracht Frankfurt Podcast. That's also going to be part of what we're going to be doing for the, not just for maybe that, but maybe some cool stuff that's coming up around the friendlies itself. Just get excited for that. Hey Eintracht Frankfurt on YouTube, Hey Eintracht Frankfurt on Instagram, hefpod on Twitter, hefpod.bsky.social. Am I forgetting any of the outlets? Hey Eintracht Frankfurt on Facebook, Hey Eintracht Frankfurt at gmail.com. Think that's
and if you're in Michigan, hit us up. We want to EFC Detroit, and we need bodies. So if you're in Michigan, Toledo, Northern Ohio, or Indiana, let us know.
Absolutely. Detroit, Eintracht Frankfurt Detroit at Detroit SGE on Twitter right now. May have some more social stuff upcoming. GM Comets, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, GM Comets at bsky.social for me. Chris, where can folks find you out on Insta and Peloton?
Find me on Peloton at C and the D 313. I wrote earlier. I'm going back up there to do some weights today. Got a new weight program that I'm ready to start, and my chest is going to be barreled by the time we get to Louisville in July. So, yep. And then on Instagram at Chris N. Monroe.
Mind your shoulders. We don't want what happened a couple weeks ago.
It's on repair right now. I'll be good to go. Thanks.
Kudos to everybody for checking out another episode of the Hey Eintracht Frankfurt podcast. From Chris in the middle of Michigan to Garrett here in the southeast portion. We'll look forward to recap the Adler Europa on Thursday. May it be a successful Eintracht Frankfurt week and weekend. Until next time, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, auf der Tschüss und Fórza SGE. Hoping that we have a Coa Santos prayer candle that Eintracht Frankfurt fan shop can then sell and charge as much for the candle as they would for shipping for those internationally.